The button has been pressed.
Oh, shit! Oh, shit! There it is! And we have a guest.
Yes, we have a guest. So some housekeeping out of the way. I'm not gonna fuck it up in front of Keith, but
yeah, fucking better not.
The fucking Do It cast is now part of the Hard Noc Media podcast group. I got it. I got it. And so visit us at Hard Noc Media. That's NOC as in Nerds of Color. Founded by one Keith Chow, who is our guest for this fine summer evening.
Hey everybody, that would be me.
So Keith, we've only had one other guest before, so we like to pretend that we're all friends and we know each other. So what have you been geeking on, Keith?
So I've been geeking on several things, but first of all, your podcast is something I've been geeking on because I feel like you guys talk about me all the damn time. I know I've been referenced on at least 4 episodes.
Yeah,
so I
because
figured
we have a secret, not so secret love for you, and it knows no bounds, and we will not be contained. So
yeah, I figured I'd find the shittiest podcast mic I could find and join you guys.
Nice.
So here I am.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I've been geeking out. The thing I've been most geeking out about is I said this on my podcast, which is Hard Noc Life. You can find that on hardnocmedia.com as well.
Yeah.
Mafex, which is a Japanese toy company, Medicom's Japanese toy company, just released promo pictures of 2 action figures. One being Jim Lee's Hush Batman, and the other being Michael Jordan.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, very. My tastes run the gamut. I've said this to people in the past that like my nerd love is actually not comics, it's not movies, it's not video games, it's not podcasts, it's toys.
Proper.
I'm a toy nerd. So I'm going to break my never buy Mafex figures rule. Because they're like they look great, but like if you stare at them too hard in the package, they will shatter.
The joints are all fucked up and loose and shit.
That's how fragile they are. I mean, that's the thing about Japanese toys. They look awesome, but if you touch them, they just fall apart. But I will break that rule and buy these fucking toys.
I have a question. Does the Hush Batman figure have like all of the extra Jim Lee cross hatching?
It doesn't. It's missing all the extra lines that Jim Lee likes to put on his. But it's got this massive cloth cape with wires that you can pose and shit.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude. And then the Michael Jordan figure has like a soft goods jersey, with like a knee, like a calf brace. They put it on his knee because these motherfuckers don't know what Michael Jordan looked like. And I love being on this podcast. I can
just I love the idea that they can make a realistic figure, but photos on the internet are a fucking bridge too far. Somebody who's like,
it's like he doesn't wear it on his knee.
Like, fucking got you, fam. I got this nailed.
He wears the brace on his left calf, not his knee. What the fuck? But no, the other thing that fucks me up on the Michael Jordan figure is that he comes with 2 head sculpts that you can swap out, and the other one doesn't have his tongue sticking out, and it's like, how do you make a Michael Jordan figure without his tongue sticking out?
Does he have the unfortunate Hitler mustache?
No, this is why he's still playing. This is not like fat mom jeans wearing Michael Jordan. Although I would buy that action figure as well.
I was also going to ask, does the other head have a baseball helmet on?
No, unfortunately. But the basket. So okay, I'm an NBA guy, so I know you guys don't talk about sports ball on this show. But the basketball that he comes with has Adam Silver's signature on it, and he's the current commissioner of the NBA, not the commissioner when Michael Jordan was playing. And I like fucking accuracy in my action figures.
Maybe he's from a different timeline.
But yeah, he's the I don't know, Avengers Endgame.
He's post snap Michael Jordan.
Maybe just a sternly worded letter along with your check.
With my $100 check.
Yeah.
I'll fucking pay $100 for a toy.
Oh my God. Keith, I have to ask.
Make sure my wife doesn't listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a problem. Yeah, I assure you she's not. Do you have any hot toys? Because if you do, that may be grounds for divorce, because those jammies are like 1 to 2 to 3 to 4.
I own one. Coincidentally, it's the 30th anniversary of Tim Burton's Batman.
Okay.
It would just pass. I don't know when this podcast goes up. But the one hot toy I have, I actually didn't pay for it. My uncle gave it to me.
Oh, okay.
It's the Michael Keaton Batman. I've actually never taken it out of the box because I wouldn't know what to do with a fucking $300 action figure.
Brandon, I don't know if you're aware of the Hot Toy brand of toys, but these are 1 to 6 scale, so they're like this big, and they are from like machined metal, like aluminum, like the Iron Man line. It's all made out of machined aluminum. They've got like candy coats. They've got like the oil joints and everything. It's just, it's some next level shit.
They're seamless, like the Wonder Woman figure from Justice League, or I guess Wonder Woman. Like, you know, she's got the Wonder Woman costume, so there's a lot of skin is exposed, and like a typical 6-inch action figure, you see all the joints and all the plastic, but it's like basically a skeleton inside. You know, like I guess silicone or whatever, but they're nuts.
Okay, yeah. My real question is, what do you do with something like that?
So I spend a lot of time on YouTube watching motherfuckers like toy collections.
Okay,
and I don't like. There are dudes who's got, and they're always dudes who've got like hundreds. Yeah, believe it or not, hundreds of these toys in their like basements and cases, and. I mean, like I mainly collect like Marvel Legends and, you know, Mattel DC figures, so like $20 a pop.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right. I have and you know, I got them on display. I'm not ashamed, but like I don't get how you can like own a house with a basement full of fucking hot toys and not like. Unless you're like a Coke dealer, that's the only.
It's got to be. It's got to be triad money. It's got to be triad money. They're laundering that shit.
These are white dudes. These are white.
Yeah,
dudes. I'm watching. On YouTube.
Make no mistake, Jamie. That's my bread right there. It is what that is. Like. 100%. There's a Reddit forum of a bunch of dudes who look exactly like me, drooling over each other's collection. Okay, wait. So
I'm on that Reddit though. So.
It's no wonder you immediately trusted me, like right out of the gate. You're like, you're one of us, and I fucking know. That's what it is. Okay, so wait. So you said you watch YouTube videos. I assume a lot of these are just people doing walkthroughs of their own collection, or please tell me. You are about to launch a new YouTube channel where you MTV Cribs other dudes' collections.
That would be. I have considered like launching. I mean, there is a Nerds of Color YouTube channel, youtube.com/nerdscolor.
Nice.
I'm always plugging. Always be plugging. I think is the.
That's how you make it. That's how you. That's why I ain't doing shit, because I never plug my stuff.
I have considered potentially like launching a show on our channel where it's just me talking about like toys, and primarily because when I watch other dudes shows that do that, they get shit sent to them for free, and that's all I want. I just want you to send me free shit.
Yes, I'm telling you right now, do that, and then manage to become a representative for like Hot Toys, where they send you around the country to other dudes' collections, and then you and somebody who you never wanted to have a lunch with are going to hang out in his basement, and you're going to do an MTV Cribs version of checking out his Wonder Woman and watch him slowly articulate that shit. Yeah.
Keith, this can work, and I have actually done this before. I've actually been sent toys from Hobby Link Japan to review on my shitty YouTube channel, like years and years ago in my fucking apartment. And I cold called them. I said, "Hi, I have a dumb YouTube channel. I would love to review toys for you. What can you do for me?" Next thing I know, I get this box from Japan, and it's a whole bunch of Kamen Rider toys. And
oh shit!
And this worked for a year. Like, I did these reviews for a year, and then they started their own YouTube channel. They were like, we can do this ourselves. So I kind of feel like
Jamie Noguchi.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like I put the bug in their ear, but the CEO of Hobby Link Japan, like, you know, the year after I started bugging them for stuff, he started doing his own reviews and his own model builds and stuff. So this is a thing that can happen, man, for sure.
I mean, Hobby Link Japan is where I pre-ordered that Hush Batman. So if you're listening, Hobby Link Japan. But you know, here's you're talking about going to like dudes' houses and like videotaping their Hot Toys collection. You know who's got a dope Hot Toys collection? He was the guy who played the Man in Black on Lost, the smoke monster. I forget his name. He was like, I don't know the guy. I don't know the actor's name. But did you guys watch Lost?
No.
So there was a smoke monster on Lost, right?
Okay.
And he took like physical corporeal form, and this is the actor. I don't know the fucking actor's name. He has another show called Bosch on like Amazon or some shit.
Yeah.
Do you know that show, Bosch?
Yeah.
Yes. I know the guy because he's also on. What is the thing I was talking about the other? Anyway, keep going. I'll find it.
Yeah. But that dude, he's got like a massive Hot Toys collection, and like. I followed him on Twitter just because, like, he collects toys. Cool.
That's awesome. I think you can pull this off, and I think, you know, with the amount of people you know,
I'm just in this for free shit. That's all. I mean, I still haven't paid you guys for like taking pictures of my mom's birthday yet.
You
did in food. Yeah, that's how this works. By the way, the dude's name is Titus Welliver.
Titus Welliver. That's right.
Nice.
That is right.
Yeah. You paid us, Keith. You paid us in food.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm geeking out about. That's what I'm always geeking out about is toys.
I'm there, man. I love that shit. Brandon Chalmers, what have you been geeking out on?
Fucking completely opposite end of the spectrum. So I have been trying to get, honestly, I've been trying to get my fat ass back together and like be less of depressed Thor, as Keith so lovingly called me. So I got challenged into doing a 30-day Pilates challenge, which fucking right? Yeah, and if anyone's met me, you can kind of do the math. I ain't built for Pilates, so it's been a thing.
Yeah.
So I've been geeking out about how fucking sore I am in everything. The points of articulation, Keith, they're strained. They're real strained. I feel like one of those old school He-Man figures where you like start to do the splits and then you're like, ooh, that's not right. Yeah, that right there. Where like the little leg joints start to happen and like the crotch starts to split. That's where I'm at right now.
The G.I. Joes with the loose O-rings inside.
Yeah. When you start to pull that little band on the inside and you're like, ooh, that's not right. Yeah.
The SH figure art common writer thing that if you move the arm too much, it just falls off and stuff.
Yeah, it's absolutely me. So just every so often I can just throw some shit up over my head and just.
Is this through a class or is it like you get a list of exercises that you're supposed to do and you follow that?
No, it's like a YouTube tutorial video where it's like they challenge you every day to do something, and I've been like trying to stick by it a bit. I'm doing it with a friend of mine who is on Instagram doing a bunch of grad stuff. Fangirls Are We, Emily, and so we work together. So after work every day, it's like, okay, what are we doing today? It's like Monday's full body, and then like Tuesday was like thighs and core or something like that, and today was like arms and abs and all sorts of booty bullshit, and just I'm hating everything.
No.
Yeah.
No, it's supposed to get you out of your depression. I feel like that just makes me more depressed.
No. Not meant to get me out of depression. Meant to make me look like less of a fat ass. I'm good with being sad. I'll blast My Chemical Romance, but I want to have an ab, like just one ab.
Everybody hurts.
I have a giant ab. That's what I tell people. Like I got the one ab.
I gotta lean the outer casing down a little bit though. Like just.
A friend of mine in high school, he gave a presentation in front of class about the benefits of drinking beer, and he ended it by pulling up his shirt and saying, "Why bother with a 6-pack when you can have the whole keg?"
Right.
It's the way to go. It's the way to go.
I have faith that there is an ab in there somewhere, but yeah. So it's basically just trying to set like reasonable goals and like It sounds like, I feel like it sounds braggadocious, but the goal right now is to be thin enough and strong enough to get to 10 pull-ups. I'm at 7 at the moment. So trying to get all 240 bills in my ass up in the air is defying gravity and God's will.
I know fit people who can't do 2, so fuck it, man.
Yeah, no, it's good. So I'm. It's
good to have goals.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that super condescending tone of yours. That's very kind of you.
I feel like I've been on this podcast from day one, so
you fit right in.
I feel like I can.
Never gonna fucking meet them, but it's real nice to set them. It's nice to want things, doesn't it? Yeah,
exactly.
Goals, fucking goals.
Jamie Noguchi.
So last night, Audrey and I went to an event at AFI Silver. It's the fancy schmancy bullshit theater in Silver Spring. But the Big Broadcast, which is a show on NPR Sundays, every Sunday they play old time radio, and I've been listening to old time radio since like a little kid. Like I grew up with like listening to The Shadow, like Gunsmoke, Green Hornet. The radio version of the Green Hornet is fucking awful, by the way. But Murray Horowitz is the current host of the show, and they wanted to do like a night where they showed the movie that inspired the name for the broadcast, and it's called The Big Broadcast. It's from 1932, starring Bing Crosby.
Noted child beater Bing Crosby.
Exactly. This movie is so fucking problematic in so many different ways. But you can't find a digital print for it at all. So it took them 3 years to track a copy of it down to host this event. So like if you upped your contribution to NPR, you got to go into like the hour presentation beforehand where like Murray and another NPR host sit down and discuss the film and discuss the actors and all that kind of stuff. And it sounds really boring and sounds really dry. And if you're not into old radio or old school radio, it is very boring and very dry. But the funniest fucking thing, Murray Horowitz sat behind me and Audrey. And since it's an old reel-to-reel movie, the projector, you have to switch reels in the middle of the movie because it runs out of tape. Well, apparently, the person running the projector didn't know that and pressed the button and walked the fuck off. So halfway through the movie, it goes to black, and behind us, old ass Murray Horowitz, Big Broadcast on NPR, WAMU, every Sunday night, we hear this, Jesus Christ, and just cursing and like yelling that they couldn't get this fucking thing right. So we're sitting there for 10 minutes. He storms out. Goes, we don't know where he goes, comes back in and he says, well, at least they know they need to change the reel now, and sits back down, starts up again, starts playing a good 5 minutes, cuts off again, and again from behind us, Jesus Christ, just fucking shit. So we got to like laugh our ass off as this old man who we heard on the radio, like the most straight-laced, like NPR, old style, old voice, just cursing the shit out of this entire event because they kept fucking up his movie. And it was a magical time. Like I did not give a shit that the movie ends with Bing Crosby possibly beating the woman that he's dating. It's just
that doesn't sound like Bing Crosby at all.
You would think the AFI of all places would know, like, hire a projectionist that knows how to like reel a fucking movie.
in the lobby they have one of those old school projectors, and they have the giant reel to reel can, so like someone there knows what they're doing. But like it was just funny.
No. Somebody knows how to set up a display because they got hired and then leave.
But yeah, it was that made the night. Like the movie itself is garbage. It's basically an excuse to have all these people do their singing shit. And if you're not into Bing Crosby, you're not going to enjoy this movie. If you're not into like the old style opera singers, you're not going to like this movie. If you don't like Cab Calloway, you're not into this. You're not going to like this movie. Although he did a song about snorting cocaine and shit. And like as he was conducting his orchestra, he was doing this kind of stuff, like, and then like faking pouring cocaine on his fist and going like this in the middle of like conducting and dancing and stuff. So that was pretty cool. I never saw that before.
Right on.
But yeah, that's the best thing that happened to me this week.
Nice. Side note to that, but semi-related. Do yourself a favor, hop on YouTube at some point, search Casey Kasem. Yeah, when he has a meltdown about coming out of an up-tempo record to a death dedication to somebody's dog.
Fucking ponderous, man. Fucking ponderous.
Yeah. Can't come out of these up-tempo fucking records and give a dog dedication to somebody's dead dog named Scruffles. And I just can't fucking because all I'm hearing is just
that was impressive.
Basically, thank you.
Fucking ponderous, man. Ponderous.
Yeah. Let's try it again. Here we go.
Yeah. That's years and years of listening to Don and Mike, isn't it, Brandon?
Yes, it is. Yes. God,
old ass local DC references.
Oh man, Mike's a bit better, but Don is still trash and moved to Florida where all of the trash lives. So that's very. Yep. Anyway, yeah. So.
All right.
That's the podcast, everybody.
That's a podcast.
All right,
that's a podcast.
We improved everything.
All right, so shortly,
this is where we're going to improve radio now. This is the lead-in, right?
We're going to be talking about public radio. No, shortly after we posted our last week's podcast about Chinese food and how we're both not great with some of it, but it's because we grew up eating shit. Keith messaged me and was like, "Hey, do you guys ever do guests on your show? I have thoughts about Chinese food," which is great because Keith, you grew up with this stuff, so
literally
you're our expert. So I know you had thoughts about what we had to say and our thoughts about Chinese food. So in a rare first for the Fucking Do It podcast, we are revisiting a topic.
It's a sequel.
The boss is about to fucking ream me out for not enjoying everything.
No. I actually appreciated that you mentioned my daughter's I'm not eating that shit.
That was hysterical.
My favorite fucking thing. God damn.
Well, I wanted to come on and you guys are actually more laudatory towards what you called mall Chinese food than I thought you were going to be, actually. So I appreciate that because I am going to come out to defend quote unquote Americanized Chinese food because I think for me, as someone who grew up, so just background for your listeners and viewers who don't know who the fuck I am. I grew up. I'm their boss. I love that. I love that you guys are so excited to be on the network. That's the thing that I get the most enjoyment out of because no one else gives a shit. But you guys are super happy about it.
I think what you mean to say it's an honor and a privilege, and sir, we thank you.
Yes, exactly.
No, but so I grew up in a small town, not too far from well, I'm not here in the vicinity, but not too far from DC. I grew up in Luray, Virginia, which is in the Shenandoah Valley, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Really rural, really small town. We were the only Chinese family in the entire vicinity. If you look at the census data from the 80s, it says it was 1.2% Chinese.
Oh, it's the Chow family.
1.2% my family. And it's actually my mom's side, so it was the Chews, not even the Chows.
Oh wow.
And so they owned a Chinese restaurant in Luray, Virginia for 40 fucking years.
Nice.
And I grew up. Yeah, and it was they bought this restaurant in the 70s. It was called Brown's Restaurant. They bought it from this guy named Mr. Brown, I guess. And they kept the name. So the restaurant was called Brown's Chinese American Restaurant for 40 years. And half the menu was actually spaghetti and steak and hamburgers, right? And the other half was and the other half was chicken chow mein, and I don't even think we had General Tso's chicken. That shit was too advanced for us. But we had sweet and sour chicken and beef and broccoli, the typical what they call inauthentic Chinese food. And it pisses me off, honestly, when I see other Asian people shit on it.
Yeah.
Because it's there was this BuzzFeed video from a couple years ago where he had these millennial Chinese kids feed their parents Panda Express. Yeah, that's the premise of the video.
Oh god.
And then the kids are like, oh, this is so gross. Oh my God, egg rolls. Blah, blah, blah. And then the parents are like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Because it's food and it's free and you're putting it in my face.
Yeah. Like the mom's eating chow mein, like, man, it tastes like what I used to make. And like the kids are going, oh, it stinks. It's so gross. It's so inauthentic.
Oh, fuck off.
And I hate those motherfuckers because it's like, what's it, you know, like maybe because I didn't even grow up in DC, right? Like I grew up in a fucking small town where like to me Chinese food was beef and broccoli and chicken chow mein, and my grandmother made it, my uncles made it, and that shit was authentic to me. So like when I hear people like rag on it, it pisses me off. And then they get mad at people like what's that fucker's name in the Midwest? The bizarre Andrew Zimmern.
Oh, Andrew Zimmern. Yeah.
You guys talked about it when he opened his own Chinese restaurant in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Right.
And he said like, because I'm trying to give white people real Chinese food because they're only used to that horseshit Chinese, and he got a lot of shit for it. You know, whatever. But like I feel like he got shit for it because that's what we've been telling him. Like the Western Chinese food is. It's horseshit. I'm like, it's not his fault that he thinks that shit's horseshit. Like we've been telling him that shit's horseshit.
Yeah.
I thought the big crux of that is that a guy who looks like Andrew Zimmern shouldn't be fucking telling other people what real authentic food is.
Yeah.
There's that too.
That was the big thing that I remember taking away from the articles was not like regular Chinese, you know, Americanized regular style Chinese food that we would all think of is horseshit. It's that pious motherfucker is the one who's supposed to be educating the masses because somehow.
Still fuck him. I'm just saying, don't fuck calling it
just make sure I understood the context. But yeah, like I find it kind of interesting the difference of like of the three of us, you grew up in the most rural area.
Yeah. My fucking family are rednecks, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Chinese side of my family. It's all redneck. I'm serious. Like my uncle got no teeth. He's like fucking wears like camo like everywhere.
You see that new Jet Li movie?
Fucking Chinese, you know, like
fucking
that's the shit I grew
dragon.
Up on. Yeah, like it's this cognitive, and like they're all like staunch Republicans.
Oh
it's
God, I wrote a nib comic about that.
Yeah,
I want to go on a field trip so bad, so bad.
Like they used to, like at the tail end of the restaurant, like my uncle who like took it over, one of my uncles who took it over, there was like, it's a whole like I should fucking do a comic book about my family in the restaurant, but like there was a whole drama between them. But then the one uncle took it over and like he fucking held fundraisers for like Eric Cantor and shit. like George Allen, like all the fucking right wing Republicans of Virginia would like come through the raid and have. You know, I mean, this is like this. We're in the like. I'm missing the fucking debate because of this podcast, but like, my family has a weird kind of connection to American politics too, because I don't know how down you guys are for like presidential electoral history, but in the '88 race between Dukakis and Bush, there was this campaign strategy that is like is synonymous with like how racist Republicans are. It's called the Willie Horton. It was this ad that they ran where basically the Bush campaign accused Dukakis of being soft on crime because he let this guy out and then he raped somebody on the weekend. But it was really just about look at the scary black man. Yeah. And the guy who came up with that notorious ad is a guy named Lee Atwater, who was the campaign manager for George Bush. And he came up with that ad on a fucking napkin at Brown's restaurant.
Oh, Jesus.
It's in like a history book. There was a book.
Hang on. Isn't Atwater one of the guys who came out of what the fuck? The Whitewater or not White?
The Nixon
thing. Yeah, because he was one of his vice president's whole crew.
He was one of Agnew's people. And he was George Bush's campaign manager. And he was eating at Brown's in like '87, and like there was like a biker like thing happening, so they were eating at the restaurant too, and he overheard their conversation, and then they just got to talking, and then he kind of like penciled the idea of like, well, let's tie Michael Dukakis to this Willie Horton guy.
Oh my God.
And that became a fucking ad that redefined that. I mean, they say that's kind of what made Bush win, that he kind of scared enough white people to vote for him.
Jesus Christ.
And it became this like notorious like footnote in American history.
Yeah.
So yeah,
That can't happen again.
Sorry. Only we had food poisoned him with some MSG or whatever.
Yeah, fucking give him a heart attack, Keith. You could have stopped
it. Could have killed Hitler when he was a baby.
With flavor, yes, with flavor.
It would have tasted so great. This is a little bit on the salty side, but it's good. Ugh.
Yeah. So yeah, so I didn't realize that like this podcast is going to be me outing my family's like ties to the Republican Party.
Okay, but can we double back to the idea of the time traveling chef that just takes out people with flavor?
That's another comic book idea, but
just like it's almost like Quantum
MSG.
Leap, but but just with a shaker and just watch sneak behind. Ha ha ha!
And then that's another thing. MSG ain't even fucking bad for you. That's another thing.
Well, yeah, of course not.
Like the only time people think it's bad for you when it's in Chinese food, but whatever. Like that's a whole other thing.
It's because it's racist, Keith.
Yeah, it's totally racist.
Yes.
But yeah, so I grew up in that whole like milieu of like living. I was that fat kid in the corner, like taking your money, washing dishes, bussing tables, like child labor when I was 9 years old. That was me.
That's how you learn, man.
Yeah. I'm reading this book right now, and it's like if you work at a Chinese, like if you're at a Chinese restaurant, it's like take your kid to work day every day, because that's basically it's my childhood. Is that and like G.I. Joe toys?
We have a friend, Phil Chan. His parents also owned a Chinese restaurant and they lived above it. He fucking hates Chinese food now. He can't.
Yeah.
He can't eat Chinese food. He can't date Asian women. He's just like he
got real traumatized.
Yeah, he got hurt.
Although they broke him hard.
Although when we did go to that place in Chicago, he hooked us up. Like there is this famous duck place in Chicago that also does suckling pig, and we wanted to get a whole group together to do it, but you needed like 10 people. So Phil swallowed his pride and hooked it up. Like he got the people together. He got them to hook us up with the pig. He did all the ordering and stuff. So he, like, if he needs to take care of people in a Chinese restaurant, he can do it. It's not his preferred mode, but he'll do it.
I love that he's Dwayne Johnson in any movie where he doesn't want to use guns, because when he uses guns, bad things happen. It's like, I'll hold the menu, but I'm not going to fucking order. Fine. One last time, they'll drag me back in.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, so do you still feel that way about like Americanized Chinese food? Is that still, do you still have like positive feelings towards it? Or
yeah, I mean I like anything, right? There's a spectrum. There's like good food, and then there's like shit food. Like I think the blanket dismissal of America, quote unquote, like even the Americanized moniker is used dismissively, right? It's to say that this isn't authentic, and like it bothers me as an Asian American person more than anything, because it's this idea that like it's not really Asian, right? Mm-hmm. And then like and you're saying that about me, you know, and that's the thing about being Asian American. You're neither fully Asian or fully American,
right?
And then like, because that's why I feel like Chinese American food is like the ultimate Asian American cuisine, because it was it came about because it was ingredients that chefs in the 19th century, like chop suey is as American as apple pie. Yeah. Because they couldn't find the ingredients that they had back home, but they tried to mimic the flavors with whatever local ingredients they had, and they threw it together and they served it. And it's about like, that's how they survived. Mm-hmm. And there's something for me that's very emotionally tied to that I wouldn't want to dismiss that as just like fake shit. Yeah. Because then you're saying my experience as an Asian American is fake. And that's what I cling to with like quote unquote Americanized Chinese food, is like, that's Chinese American food. Mm-hmm. That's me. That's my life. This the way that you adapt what's quote unquote Asian or quote unquote Chinese and make it American. That's what my life is. And that's why I get specifically upset with like other Asian Americans who shit on it. Yeah. Because then it's like, you're talking, then like, what does that say about your own culture? because you're not fully authentically Asian either.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're complaining about it in Chinese, then fine.
Yeah. Yeah. If Papa is coming to town and saying shit you don't understand, then
right. Yeah. But if you're in English saying Panda Express is bullshit, then I don't got time for you, because then you're bullshit too.
Did your parents alter any of their recipes throughout the years to cater to certain tastes, or did they just make what they made and people showed up?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of both. I mean, the thing is, again, like, there's so many different kinds of American Chinese. Like, you mentioned mall Chinese food is different from, like, takeout Chinese food. Oh, yeah. It's different from, like, sit-down Chinese restaurants. Like, Cantonese Chinese. Like, my family's all Cantonese, so, like, that kind of food is still a play on, like, traditionally Cantonese food, whereas, like, Taiwanese food or Szechuanese food is a little bit different. Like, some's more spicy, some's more this or that, salty or whatever. Yeah. Like, a lot of the like what you guys are complaining about, a lot of like the over sugary stuff. People think that's American. That's not American. That's Cantonese. like one of the dishes you guys.
Sorry, Keith.
No, but it's true. But like one of the dishes you guys had was the spare ribs,
or the
pork chops that were like in this kind of like sweet and sour sauce.
Yeah.
That's a quote unquote authentic Cantonese dish. Which you can see the straight line from that to like General Tso's or sweet and sour pork. Right?
I think that's what kind of threw me. And it was like, when it was served there, it was like, okay, I'm assuming this is 100% legit because this place has no reason to fuck around. But it was like, it almost threw me for a half second. It was like, what? Like, that color, while pretty, does not happen outside of a glass case. So I'm very confused as to what's happening right now.
Yeah, so like I think a lot of what, like, because many of the original Chinese immigrants were Cantonese, so what we call like Westernized or Americanized Chinese food is kind of a play on like Southern Chinese cooking.
Okay,
and of course it's been adapted. Like the American broccoli and beef and broccoli is not something you would find in China 100 years ago.
Because the Chinese broccoli is completely different.
It's leafier. It's like the stems are a little bit firmer. Mm-hmm. But, so like we don't have that broccoli, we have this broccoli, so then we just make this, and now it's become its own iconic dish. So what I think is that, yes, I've gone to some takeout Chinese that's been like, it's shit. Like, I eat it, my stomach hurts. Like, I'm not saying it's all great.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, it's to your guys' point the other day is that I think the idea of like, quote unquote, elevating Chinese food, like, I want to see that Asian American chef who like unashamedly cooks like General Tso's chicken. Who unashamedly cooks chicken chow mein. Mm-hmm. Like, you can make it elevated or whatever, but like you retain like its quintessential Americanness.
Do you think they could be able to fight the backlash of like the wave of people being like, that's not authentic? Like, how do you battle one against the other? Like, does someone have to be such a like Gordon Ramsay level dickhead that just you have to almost be like, no, you're fucking wrong. Open a textbook, figure out what the fuck's going on, and shut up and sit the fuck down.
I think the thing is, Asian American chefs got to get out their own heads, because like, you guys are trying to come up with who's the guy, and like there's actually several celebrity Asian American chefs, and like 5 out of the 6 last Top Chef winners are like Asian,
Uh-huh. Okay, right on.
But like Dave Chang is a great example. He's another local guy. He's from He's from Alexandria or Arlington. Like, he had a show on Netflix called Ugly Delicious, where like he has the Chinese food episode and he shits on Chinese, like American Chinese food.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the same show, like 4 episodes earlier, he's like singing the praises of Domino's. Right. Like, to like a Neapolitan pizza guy. He's but there's something about Domino's. He like romanticizes it. And I'm like, it's the same fucking thing.
Right.
Like, how are you going to romanticize Domino's and then shit on Panda Express? It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Domino's ain't got a panda.
Exactly. And I don't know if the guy who created Domino's is Italian, but I sure as hell know that the people who came up with Panda Express were Chinese.
Oh yeah.
Like the people lump Panda Express with like Taco Bell. Taco Bell was like clearly like a white dude ate a taco and was like, I'm gonna do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
like the Chang family is like straight up gangster. I mean, they're not actually straight up gangsters. But I don't.
they're the triads.
For defamation. but like they fucking busted their asses and created this like empire based on like the kinds of Chinese American dishes that my family cooked. So. fuck you if you shit on Chinese food is all I'm saying.
I absolutely.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
No, I had no
Keith's
idea you were gonna
up.
fucking one call him out, and then two call him out on his own bullshit. Because I remember seeing that and being like, that feels like some hypocritical shit. But I'm not about to give that dude a hard time because fucking I am not that guy. But yeah, like.
I mean, and that's kind of, I feel like that's like something, again, as someone who grew up in like the Chinese American restaurant, and you know, we still ate like when my grandma cooked, it was more it wasn't necessarily the dishes off the menu, right? Like we had our own. Like she still made sticky rice and all that stuff. Yeah. But I mean, and that's just as much a part of my childhood as anything else. But like, I don't have the disdain for what we call Westernized or Americanized Chinese food that I think a lot of Chinese Americans have. And I try to just shift my lens on it and be like, that's what, like, to me, that's a story of like survival. That's what like immigrants who came to this country, like that's how they knew to survive. It's like I will adapt, and then you know, culture is all about adaptation, and it's how do I take the things that I know and apply them to this place where I live now, and then we're the children of that. Right? Like we don't have like on the surface, yes, we look foreign, but we're just as American as anybody else.
For sure.
That's the same thing with like a dish of sweet and sour chicken. It looks like exotic. Like if you're like never had Chinese, you think this is exotic, authentic Chinese food, but it is in a way. It's authentically Asian American. Yeah. And that's where I want people to start having that conversation about Chinese American food, and not just like it's either like the kind of like 8-course banquet meal you guys had. Right. Or it's like the shit takeout. Like I think there are is a spectrum of Chinese food.
I think maybe that might also be part of the problem is it's hard for people on the outside to identify what a decent Chinese restaurant is.
That's true.
Because like the banquet place, I had an expectation that the quality was going to be very high and what have you. Like I am fully expecting that this is top tier level sort of thing, because if you're running a restaurant that large with that sort of decor and that sort of staff at that level, you must be able to put out a rather impressive product that is true to form just based on the clientele and how crowded the place was. Like it's like any other top tier restaurant. So that made sense. The Panda Express on the complete opposite end, as far as like mentally of the spectrum, is it's quick, fast food, and it makes sense how it survives. Everything else in between, like you said, there are some places that like you've had takeout and you're like, this is shit and it made me feel terrible. And then there's probably other places where you've been somewhere and you've been like, I'm craving this and I'm just gonna quick hit Yelp or something like that. And I'm gonna hit something place with like at least 3 stars and we'll see if it's actually decent. And it turns out to be fucking killer. How the hell does anybody know?
You know what, like my brother and I have this thing. Any Chinese restaurant we go to, whether it's like a full scale, fully authentic with the roast pork and the duck in the window, or if it's like a takeout bullshit buffet place, we get the General Tso's chicken.
Is that it? Really?
That's what we do. It's like anywhere we go, really? Even if it's like the most authentic dim sum, we order a plate of. And we even did that for my daughter, right? Like
we saw that.
One thing we'll order a plate of General Tso's, because it's like if you fuck up a General Tso's chicken, it don't matter like how upscale your shit is. Don't matter.
That's a good barometer.
You fuck that up.
Yeah,
you fuck it up.
Killing me.
And I can't help you.
I want to know. I want a documentary specifically on General Tso's chicken. Like, where did it come from? Who was the general? All that kind of stuff. Oh, no.
Because place could be hole in the wall with one counter, one lone chair, and like bunch of menus taped down to the counter, and the food could be killer. Or place could actually have a decent storefront and look really nice, but the food's mediocre. Like there's no way for anyone walking.
And that's true about every restaurant, though, right? Like
I guess.
That's the thing about like your menu. I mean, and I don't have a lot of like experience like opening restaurants. Like that's the thing. Like you know, when you watch Top Chef or whatever, like I'm no restaurateur.
No,
but,
I
like,
get that.
My family had one in a small ass town in Luray. My parents moved out. We went down to like the Virginia Beach area. We opened up like a small little. Like half takeout. It was like takeout, but with like, you know, enough tables where it wasn't just like walk up to the counter.
Right. Yeah.
And then like we would have like a little tiny buffet on the weekend. And we had like the, you know, clientele that came every week, every day almost. And it was just like, I think I think the idea is like when people go into a Chinese, again, there's a whole spectrum of just American Chinese food because there's like hood Chinese food. You know what I'm saying? That you find in like the ghetto, and that serves a different type of food than like the mall Chinese food or a buffet place.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and those are all just kind of like responses to the neighborhoods that they're in, and they're parts of those communities. And then that's what I mean about like shifting our lens about looking at a Chinese place. Whether it's a takeout spot or a buffet or whatever, and then just kind of think, what is the story of that place? You know what I mean? Because I think we do that with a lot of food places. You know, we think of like, what's this food story? What are these people's stories? But we don't do that with Chinese food for some reason.
That's true.
You know what I mean? We do that with all other kinds of cuisine, but like Chinese foods we take for granted.
Yeah.
And especially Asian Americans, again, we almost look derisively at like the mom and pop takeout spot as being inauthentic, as being fake.
Yeah.
You know, it's like looking at wrestling and thinking that shit's fake. Meanwhile, like these are like athletes like jumping off ropes, like, you know, doing shit that none of us could ever do in our dreams, but it's fake. I feel that same way about fake Chinese food.
I don't know if there's a way to have that one for one comparison though, because here's where my head is with that. Pro wrestlers, you can see what sort of effort they're putting into it. You can see what sort of effort they're putting physically into themselves. You can hear them. Like, you can see a barometer of what they're putting into their product right out of the gate. When you walk into one of those mom and pop takeout places, you don't really get a barometer of anything. Like, a lot of the interaction feels very cold, and whether it's someone walking in not giving a whole lot or them just wanting to have a quick transaction to make sure that you get what you need quick, fast, efficiently, and at a decent price to make sure that you keep coming back, like the interaction almost feels cold. So you lose that, like, you I don't know. It's a weird thing of like, I lose that back and forth that I feel like I would get with like neighborhood pizza place where I've got to hang out for a couple minutes and wait for them to finish making a pie. Like, I don't know.
Maybe
if there's a way to break that stigma.
Maybe the volume of yelling between the front and the back is a good indication of like the quality of the food.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe that's it. Because like, there's a place like down the street from me. Right, like there's a place that's down the street from me that I've absolutely always loved, and like clearly it's.
Wait, I know where you live. What's the place?
Lucky Inn.
We can cut. Okay, yeah.
Right.
See, Lucky Inn's, but that's like old school kind of Chinese restaurant. But we don't. That's what my parents' restaurant was like.
Right.
Those kinds of restaurants don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So like Lucky Inn is like, it has takeout, but then it has quite a few tables, and like it's got the aquarium and the whole nine. Like,
but it's also got the poo poo platter and all.
Right. Yeah. So like when you go in there and you eat in there, you feel like you're in a fucking library, and at any given moment, somebody's gonna kick your ass if you use a tone any louder than a whisper. Like I accidentally dropped a fork and looked nervous as fuck in that place. Like. But I've also gone in there, and like the sons now are maybe, I don't know, 18 or 19. And like one of them's got a fucking voice like Barry White. It's the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen. Because he's like 6 foot, maybe 110 pounds, soaking wet, and just has the deepest goddamn voice. And so
hello,
like,
sir.
He takes your order, and then all of a sudden you hear him go, "Mom, I need you to ring this up. I don't know how." And just like, it's fucking great. And then she comes storming out of the back like a fucking hurricane, and then hits everything up, immediately recognizes you, quick back and forth, real easy joke around with her, whatever it is, and then she just goes, "Take a seat, be with you in a minute." Okay, cool, good talk. And like that little bit of interaction meant that every time I went back in there, it's always like, it feels very like respectful and somber in the sense of like, this is a restaurant, you're going to respect the clientele. If somebody wants to have a nice peaceful dinner, you're going to do that. But at the same time, it's a lot of like, "Hey, how you been? Yeah, no, we got your order over here. You're totally good. We'll take care of all that." Yeah, like,
which is again very much like the kind of restaurant I grew up in, right? Those kinds of. I mean, you guys saw my mom, right?
Yes.
Like she cultivated those. Like you could tell, like, you know, the people who came to the party, like she cultivated those kinds of relationships as a restaurant owner, right? Like it was like very different from the kind of short, kind of cold takeout where it's just like, right? I get that. Like, and that's what I'm saying. That's a spectrum. And I think a lot of it too is, you know, maybe again, for me, I kind of recognize myself. And when I like go to a takeout, and I like the other day we got some takeout, and like the like teenager kid is the one who rang me up. And then, you know, I got back in the car, my wife and I were like, she was like, that's like you, wasn't it? I was like, yeah, that was totally me 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Yeah, because I'm old as shit now. But like, it's totally like, maybe for me, there's a extra layer of nostalgia that I can see past the like, the broken English and the like bad attitude to like see past that, to see like, I remember when my dad seems very jovial nowadays, but I remember when that motherfucker beat the shit out of me because I was like, I'm hungry. You're my parental unit. You're supposed to feed me. And he's like, shut the fuck up.
See that knife? Go
sorry.
Get it.
I didn't mean to tell you I was hungry.
Okay.
And like I tell my daughter that story, she's like, not grandpa. I'm like, yeah, grandpa. You don't know the man I knew.
Grandpa don't fuck around.
So then is it fair to say that maybe a place who's willing to have a couple tables is a better sign?
Because I think that Lucky Inn style place doesn't exist anymore.
Okay.
I think like when like recent immigrants come over now and they open restaurants, like they're either like a takeout spot or it's a buffet spot. Like the what's the one? Fortune? No, what's the one that's down Joppa Road?
I have no idea. I haven't been able to find a decent buffet anywhere.
Ugh.
There's one. It's not decent, but it's the only one. It's the only one nearby. It's actually, if you go past Lucky Inn, shit. What's it called? I can't remember. They don't sponsor us anyway. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, fuck them.
But
they're right next to. Like there's a Chinese grocery store right next to it.
Yeah. I know where you're talking.
You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely do. Yeah, it used to be an old country buffet, and then it got turned into a Chinese buffet, and then
Hibachi grill.
Yes, hibachi grill. Yeah, which the hibachi is not bad, but I have had quite a few things there that I question what the fuck I ate.
See, and I have an issue with just buffet. Like, I would go to a buffet restaurant if they outlawed children.
Okay, my hard rule is like avoid buffets. Full stop. Like if somebody's like, "Hey, we're gonna go out. We're going to a buffet," I'll be like, "I'll meet you wherever the fuck we're going after."
I'll meet you at Taco Bell. Fuck that.
And I'm a big dude, and you'd think I'd be good for buffet. There's no good that comes of buffet.
Nah.
Like, I used to love a buffet, bro, but like I see children and then like they reach for the pizza and then they put it back. Like the sneeze guard is too high, so they're just like sneezing on that shit.
I trust in the magic of the warming plate. The warming plate solves everything. Kills all germs.
I know you don't go to buffets, but my like trick is that I just wait till they bring like the fresh shit out.
Oh yeah.
And then I just grab that real quick before anyone comes by, because I'm like, no, you're not sneezing on my jet.
I purposely just cut off children, so that's just a policy of mine. Yeah, it's just I don't.
You throw
I don't
them
hesitate.
bows.
I don't wait for children. Like if they're in the middle of doing, I do not care. Like
yeah, that's good. That's good.
What are you gonna do? Make a scene at this old country buffet? Like.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yes, Karen, I absolutely cut off Tyler, and I went ahead and took that last slice of pizza. He can
So Keith, do you know the history of the general? Was he an actual general, or is that some bullshit that someone made up?
No, I think there's a convoluted story. I will recommend to your viewers and listeners to go to Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix. There was a documentary called In Search of General So.
Okay, I kind of need that because I've always heard about it, and I've always wondered if there was like, if it's actual bullshit or if it's something like, if it's like the American, if it's like fortune cookies where we made it up, or if it's actually a historical figure.
Yeah, so there was a historical figure named General So. Like the story of the dish though is like, I think it was actually a Taiwanese chef in New York or something came up with the idea and then kind of mutated from there. And then there's like back and forth about who actually created the dish. But I would watch that because that documentary is actually something that even though the premise is about finding out the origin of the dish, it's really about the history of Chinese American food, and it's really good. And it's kind of what informed a lot of my. I mean, I already thought this about the food I grew up on, but it really informed my thinking, and like that's the kind of respect I want people to have.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, so I want Dave, like Momofuku to like fucking do like a Chinese American dish and not be ashamed of it, is what I'm saying. It's the way I feel about like Zack Snyder's DC universe, right? Like, I feel like
don't be ashamed of comic books.
Yes, he's like I'm going to make this shit edgy and gritty and like fucking Superman like won't wear underwear on the outside. My fucking Batman will get raped in prison. And like, fuck you. It's Batman and Superman. Like, just don't be ashamed. Don't have to make that shit edgy for the sake of edgy. Anyway, sorry. That's a weird tangent that I went on.
No, it's fucking not. And yes, continue on.
But I want those kinds of chefs to like embrace that kind of cuisine. Like, because, you know, Anthony Bourdain, rest in peace, who died like, a year ago this week.
Yeah.
You guys were trying to figure out who's the guy. You guys said Guy Fieri. Like, Anthony Bourdain was that guy. He was that guy who right. respected like authentic stuff. But he did this episode in Chinatown where he was like, you know, talking about egg rolls, like as lovingly as he talked about like the Dan noodles that they made in the back.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, though, the thing that Bourdain never really was great about was teaching anybody how to cook. Like, yeah, and that's
he taught me how to cook eggs, though.
Yeah, yes,
I learned how to cook eggs.
It was a 20. God damn it. God,
I think you talked about that. You talked about the eggs, right?
Yes, yeah, the love in which that dude made an egg, and I have used that in every situation I possibly can. Seriously, family Christmas breakfast, right? I go down, I start making food for like 20 people. I'm like, I got this. We're good. I'll make everything. I'm making the eggs last. They require love. Everybody looked at me like I was a fucking maniac. Yeah. And then full Bourdain that shit and was immediately told no one else is ever touching the eggs from this point forward. So, yeah, like that video is a fucking game changer.
It really is.
Yeah.
But I mean, but to your point, I think there was like, he wasn't like that kind of, like you guys mentioned Martin Yan and, you know, like, but he also, it was 40 years ago, but he taught people how to bake like Chinese American food. Mm-hmm. We need like a 21st century Martin Yan.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I need somebody who is willing to do what you're saying. Break a lot of the stigma and basically educate people on it, and then be okay with making a good home version of General's Chicken, and then being able to just be like, look, you can order this anywhere, but if you want to make it at home, this is how I would make it. And it's really good. And you can doctor it any way you want, but here are the core kind of things that make a good General's Chicken. And then,
but you know, here's the thing that I think part of that why you never see those kinds of cooks on TV anymore is that you can't make Chinese food at home, even the shitty, quote unquote, shitty Chinese food, because my parents have a hard time. They try to make a lot of the dishes they used to make at the restaurant, but unless you have a wok that's at like 5,000 degrees in your kitchen, you can't make the same thing. Like there was this black bean chicken dish that they used to have at the restaurant, and ever since they retired, they've tried making it a couple times. It's the worst. I'm sorry, Mom and Dad,
the fire code won't let the oven get hot enough for grandma.
We can't. Yeah, exactly. And they're like, we can't make the pan hot enough to.
We can solve this problem. I'm telling you right now. You get one of those like propane mount outdoor ridiculous ass burners. One of those things that just goes just all the fucking time. And then the big fucking wok, it's just right outside. Everybody else has got a grill. You're out there, big fucking wok, giant fucking paddle.
Yo, that would be so dope. At like the barbecue.
We make a forge. We forge.
Yeah, we make a forge is basically what we're doing. Yeah, like don't even fucking hesitate. We just like, you're going to see me dragging propane tanks in and then just hard screwing something mounted to the thing and then just lining bricks safety is really all I'm doing. And then that thing is going to ignite and heat up. And then I'm going to watch somebody from your family get fucking stoked.
How big is your backyard, Keith?
He's done it.
It's very tiny.
Damn it.
I live in a small
Fuck it. I got real estate. Bring everybody over. You have my axe, sir.
I kind of want this to happen.
Doom out of it.
I kind of want this to happen now.
I am all about this. Like, yeah, you know, fuck it. We're doing that. You know, hang on. Okay, where can a motherfucker buy a giant?
My dad's probably like, I'm not doing the cooking. That's the problem. Like, we need someone.
You tell us what to do. We'll figure it out.
YouTube it. It'll just be him shouting at me on how to cook. Just.
You bring the wok, we'll find the ingredients, we'll make, like, they can yell at us and tell us how to make it. We'll make it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Okay, I'm going to type giant fuck wok into until somebody tells me where I can buy a giant fucking wok.
We might need to.
I'm sure you can buy them at like any kind of like restaurant.
Jim Jim works with sheet metal. We might be able to construct a giant fuck walk somehow.
Okay, but I really want one in a reasonable amount of time. So if I could just buy that instead, that'd be swell.
I mean, like, there are restaurant supply stores
Ooh.
that have to supply Chinese restaurants.
Yes.
You know what? Actually, there's one right outside of DC.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say you're in DC. It's like that's where we would go get our supplies.
And
Yeah.
now all we need to do is learn how to build a forge in the backyard.
And learn how to cook Chinese food.
Honestly, dude, the forge is the easiest part.
So learning how to cook Chinese food is the problem.
We just need your parents to yell at us. Just tell us what to buy. Yell at us. I'll do prep. You know, I'll cut some shit up. We'll throw it in a wok. And we'll mix it all together. We'll film
maybe
it.
that'll be this. We turn your parents into YouTube sensations. They yell at me to learn how to make Chinese food, and this is how we break the stigma.
I like it. I mean, so we're doing the Hot Toys videos. We're doing
We're
Chinese
about
people
to
yell
beat
at
the
Brandon video.
fuck out of the Nerds of Color Facebook or YouTube account is
Yeah,
what
we're
about
building
to do.
out your network. We're building out your video network.
I like that. That's really cool. Just more content, man. That's why you're part of the network.
Nice
Content Uber Alice.
Well, I think. I mean, it doesn't seem like there's anything to fix except people's perception of Chinese food, of all of it.
Yeah, dude, you blew my mind with the idea the Cantonese thing is like almost the Americanized, like the sugary stuff is the Chinese. Like that completely threw off my perspective. Everything. That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's because I think there is some truth to a lot of it is kind of calibrated to the American palate, but it's like chow mein at a takeout place is based on Cantonese chow mein. Like it's not that far off, you know. Egg foo young is like there is a Cantonese version of egg foo young. So like the idea that like it's like people just made this shit up to give to trick white people isn't entirely true. It's really about the idea that, you know, we're going to make the dishes we recognize with ingredients we don't.
Yeah.
And to me, that's a powerful thing. Yeah. To shows the resilience of like Chinese people, you know, and like whenever people make fun of that, it's like you don't understand the history of what it like. Imagine being like, you know, 19th century railroad workers who are trying to survive. Like, you know, you've come over here to be laborers and you're trying to survive. Like that's the origin of Chinese American food. It's not like, because like I think the part of the dismissiveness is like the idea like we're tricking white people, like making them think this is authentic, and really we know like it's the like stereotype of like the secret Chinese band. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't exist. Like there are, like I said, my family used to cook like quote unquote authentic stuff in the back, but the fake stuff is not that far off from the authentic stuff. Yeah. Like if you order like Cantonese chow mein, Cantonese egg foo young, like the pork chops that you guys ate, it's very, like I said, you can see the straight line from that to the stuff on a takeout menu.
And they're made with American ingredients because that's what they had. They didn't have a fucking lotte when they were building railroads.
Exactly.
To like, here's your bok choy. So.
Right, and so that's what I mean. Like, if you want, like, if you want to be a hipster about it, like, I would like to see like a Chinese hipster chef open a Chinese restaurant that serves like, you know, elevated versions of Chinese American food. Like, I think that's another. Like, I want to see that guy come on Top Chef, and be like, you know, this is my version of beef and broccoli, and it's like this elegant thing, but he understands the history of it. Like, I feel like right now the history of Chinese American cuisine gets too easily dismissed as this bullshit that we've tricked white people with.
Yeah,
it's funny that like you keep going back to the beef and broccoli, but I realize like it almost feels like from your perspective, or at least my understanding of your perspective, that like beef and broccoli is almost the equivalency of like a pasta with red sauce. Like it's simple,
so basic.
It's so basic, and when done properly with the love and care that it deserves, it can be fucking amazing. And I think that's really the thing to understand, like, from this, is just give the shit a chance and appreciate good food for good food and get out of your own fucking head.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, everything that again, going back to Dave Chang, everything he says in his pizza episode, like, I understand. Like, I don't personally like Domino's, but like there's that nostalgia factor. There's all of the like. There's just something about the taste. And so when he's talking to some guy from Naples who's like, I can't understand why you would think this is real pizza,
right?
You know. He's like, well, but like this is the blah 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 blah. But then 3 episodes later, he's like, fuck Chinese food. That's not real. And it's like, you literally just said Domino's pizza, you prefer the Neapolitan pizza. Like, if there's an example of a bastardized ethnic food, it's Domino's.
Yeah.
Whatever, Dave Chang. Come on my show, though. Come on my podcast, Dave Chang. We can hash it out in real time.
We can fight. We can battle on the mic.
Food fights. That's another YouTube show we should do.
I mean,
we're just like,
yeah.
It can be like an offshoot of the Chinese people yelling at Brandon show.
Yeah,
that's a name, right? Chinese people yell at Brandon. That's kind of what this podcast is right now.
Yeah.
Again, weirdly enough, I'm actually having a great time. So let's just keep this going.
I would fuck it. I think there's a show in that. You know, we
yelling at Brandon.
Yeah, we do a banquet, but we have Brandon do all the cooking, and your parents just yell at him.
Just yelling at
just
me.
fucking yelling the entire time. I think like I'm
just capable enough in a kitchen to be dangerous. So I think that would be kind of a great thing of them just yelling at me. Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, though, I think I don't have. My parents don't have it in them. And you met them. I don't think they have it in them anymore. We got to find someone else to yell.
I bet one of your uncles does, though. The powder blue suit.
The powder blue suit.
Like, he was ready to fucking scream at somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm go.
Oh yeah.
There was some talk about food. There was some epic battles between him and my dad in the kitchen at Brown's Restaurant.
I love that I picked the guy out. That's the best.
No, that's true. Uncle Danny, man, he was a contemporary of some, like, he might have. I don't want to spread rumors, but he might have traveled in some of those circles that Bruce Lee traveled in that caused Bruce Lee to have to move to America. That's all I'm saying.
Shit.
That's all I'm saying.
All right, maybe
he was a triad.
I feel like I may have gotten in over my head way too fast. But yeah,
You might have traveled in some of them circles, man.
That's
all
amazing.
No, the fear is real enough alone just having your parents yell at me. If we could not add genuine danger other than I want to fucking beat this dude with a spatula, that'd be swell. Like,
yeah, the fucking White Lotus gang comes down and like.
Yeah, no, I do not need to. Yeah, I'm getting yelled at. Yeah, I'm getting yelled at. All of a sudden, I shout back, and next thing I know, the camera turns off, and you never fucking see me again. No, thank you. Good. Video's over. Fuck.
Brandon. That's another. That'll be our pod. That'll be our like serial style podcast. Yeah. Whatever happened to Brandon?
No, except it's fucking bold, because I'll be goddamn Voldemort. You won't be allowed to fucking mention my name. Nobody will. Just. Sure do miss insert name here.
The white dude on the walk is what
Sure
we'll
miss
call it.
beep.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
but I am behind the idea of you. Honestly, Keith, if you just want to make it like you and your brother yell at me on how to make Chinese food, I'm good with that.
Us know what the fuck we do. Either,
That's okay. I think
that might be more entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not how mom did it. I don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Less cornstarch.
You can't
throw away the cornstarch.
That's not how cooking works.
You can't subtract. You can only add.
Like haircuts, you can't do and not go back.
Put more of the other shit in. No, not that one.
Yeah.
Shit, fuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty entertaining, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like we're like 6 minutes away from having a fucking I Love Lucy episode where I'm pouring with one and then pouring with the other and then looking back going, am I doing it right? Is everything okay?
Sticking bonbons in your mouth as you cook.
Yeah.
We need to do this as soon as your house gets sorted, Brando. This needs to happen. This is a fall project, is what this is. When the weather
the forge first.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the weather turns and the forge is found, I think it's time.
Yeah. We need to plan this out, but it's gold. We got at least 5 episodes in. It's gold. Because after 5, I don't know if we can handle it.
Brandon will be dead by episode 5, I thought.
Yeah, I was going to say, either I'll be dead by episode 5 or somebody will call me and my homeowner's insurance will go through the fucking
Oh, man.
Excuse me, my neighbor has a forge in his backyard.
Recorded in an undisclosed location that is abso-fucking-lutely not Brandon's backyard.
Wait, is he a blacksmith? No, there's a walk for some reason.
Yeah. To find blacksmith, there's a lot of shouting and banging, so I don't know what actually they're doing.
They keep throwing sauces in.
Yeah, I keep hearing somebody angrily yell cornstarch. No, not that one. The other one.
That's the name of the show. Not that cornstarch.
Not that one. The other one. Oh my god!
Like it. I'm down.
Yeah, I think we nailed it. That's what's gonna happen.
All
we
right.
got it.
We're making a new show. We got the plans to do it. We're making a new show.
Fucking do it, man.
We're fucking doing it. We're gonna fucking do it. All right, Keith. Where can people find you? Do you have stuff to promote? Like what? How would you like to sign off tonight?
Sure. You can go to hardnocmedia.com where you can find my podcast, Hard Noc Life, and my other podcast, Southern Fried Asian, and my other podcast, DCTV Classics. I host too many fucking podcasts.
Christ, dude.
The whole network of podcasts are there, including Fucking Do It. We have like 9-10 shows now. It's crazy.
And like 5 of them are you?
Yeah. I guess.
Now I'm on this one. Fucking 5 of them are you? That's awesome, boss. Well done.
That's amazing.
And now I'm on this one. I'm taking this one over too.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Go to the Nerds. You can also go to the nerdsofcolor.org. Follow me on Twitter at the Real Chow, the _real_ Chow, and the Nerds of Color at the Nerds of Color. I will be at Comic-Con in July.
Yes.
We're still working out the details, but last year we did this thing where we held a rally for Rose Tico, where we actually raised money for Asian American feminist charity, and so we're going to be doing that again. Once we get the details ironed out, we're going to put that shirt. That shirt is actually for sale now, but you can go to our TeePublic store on the nerdscolor.org and buy that T-shirt. We're going to do another rally for Rose. We're going to do a Rose parade this year. We'll figure out the spots to go from one end of the Comic-Con Convention Center to the other. But we're going to work all that out. I haven't announced it. This is like exclusive to you guys. So all 6 people who listen to this podcast will know.
Look at you bumping our numbers up.
Yeah, man.
So I can announce it here and not worry that it'll get leaked.
Exclusive.
So, yeah, we're doing exclusive. We're gonna, but I'll say that announced on the Fucking Do It podcast. But yeah, so we're gonna do another rally for Rose at Comic-Con. So come check that out.
I'm excited.
In July. Hope to see you there, Jamie.
I'll be there. Yeah.
Make sure you pack your shirt. And but yeah, so like I got that going on, and Jamie and I will be back at the Apple Store in July, I think.
Yep. The weekend of Otakon. So that's Saturday.
Not associated with Otakon.
That Saturday, skip Otakon, at least in the morning. Come see us at the Apple Store, and then go back to Otakon.
Get some more free Apple swag out of that. That's all. That's what I love about it. Nice. Like I'm all about the free shit, y'all. You don't have to pay me in money. Just pay me in swag.
Swag. Brandon Chalmers, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at that guy Chalmers, and hopefully my hiatus will be over soon. Yes, off-camera explanations. Jamie Noguchi, where can they find you?
You're here, so obviously you found us here, but you can also check me out at Angry Zen Master on Twitter. Jamie Noguchi on Instagram. Just put my name and shit. You'll find me. I'm places and stuff. And that's all we got. We have stuff to promote for Comic-Con too. So not only does Keith got stuff going on, Brandon and I and our buddy Phil Chan, we have stuff going on. We have an exclusive shirt that's dropping at Comic-Con. It's going to be I'm going to have it next week, so I'll show it next week on the podcast. And then hopefully the website will have it exclusively. So we'll have exclusive stuff to sell. We're starting a new venture. We're trying to, make moves because, you leave one thing and now you have more time to do more stuff, which is not true at all, but that's the way we're looking at it.
Not a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for Draw Right Now. Draw Right as in writing things now. DrawRightNow.com links to our storefront. We don't have much stuff there, but by the time we hit San Diego Comic-Con, we'll have a whole storefront set up and all that kind of shit. So, but yeah, so look forward to that. And until next time, bye. I don't have a good send off for this fucking bye.
Goodbye.
Right.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
End the thing.
All right.
End it.
Wait, I'm going to push it.
And